Good evening, and welcome to the Stephanie Humphrey Channel and the Stephanie Humphrey Podcast. I am so excited that you are here on this Thursday, June 18th at 6:30 p.m. It's actually 6:32 p.m. I started 2 minutes late, but I'm so excited that you are here. Welcome to Sip and Say with Stephanie. How doing? How are you doing emotionally? How are you doing mentally? How are you doing spiritually? How are you doing socially? How are you doing physically? How are you all doing tonight or this evening? Y'all, I'm feeling good. I feel good from my head to my feet. Know where I'm going and I don't know what I'll eat. I know that's not the song, y'all. I'm just talking. I feel good. I feel amazing. I feel wonderful. I do want to go to my recliner and get some rest. I ain't gonna lie about that part. But I feel good. I feel thankful. I feel blessed. I feel the presence of the Lord. He is so good. You all know. I know it's Sip and Say with Stephanie, but y'all know I cannot have too many shows without saying Jesus. Hallelujah, because he is the center of my life and the center of my joy, and I give honor and praise to him even during Sip and Say with Stephanie. Hallelujah. So how y'all doing? I feel, like I said, I feel good. I spoke at a graduation today. It is the third graduation that I've spoken to. Um, it was for a community program that's at our nonprofit from my church. And it was so nice. I kept it short and sweet. Like somebody told me, you were like 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes. And that person was my aunt because she recorded me speaking. And I wanted to keep it short and sweet because there were two student speakers that gave some reflections. And I impact I was told that I packed in some good information in the short time that I spoke. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I was able to share with the graduates today. I was actually with them yesterday, leading a mindfulness, not mindfulness, but a wellness session with them about mental health and emotional health. We had some good conversations. I feel like I gave out good information to the students, ninth grade through 12th grade, through my nonprofit, Be Well Connection. And so I enjoy speaking with those young people, as I always do. I love hosting wellness sessions. It's a heart of what I do for the community and what I really love to do. And so I enjoy that. And it is so interesting how different moments can impact your life. But talking to those young people yesterday morning, then I headed to work. I was on my way to work and I was so calm and so peaceful. And just thinking about the session, the information I shared with them, thinking about their interaction with me, their reflection, because you know how you can tell in somebody's face how they're reflecting and thinking about what they've heard, and just the engagement that I had with those young people, it really blessed me in a way that I didn't know would bless me. I spoke to I spoke last year as well, um, a wellness session with the program, the community paid internship program called Launchpad. I spoke with them last year, but it was a different group of students because you apply every year, and depending on if you get chosen to be a part of the program. So there were a few of them from last year that were there this year. But this group of students were very observant and listening and reflective, and I really appreciate the engagement that I had with them. And it really blessed me and caused me to do some reflection of my own. And so I appreciated the time that I spent with them yesterday, and the fact that I was able to share some nuggets with them today was really a blessing to me. And I thank God for the opportunity to share always with all people, but especially young people. It is such a powerful thing to impact the lives of young people. And you all know I'm an educator. I've been doing this thing since I was a teenager. And so, with a few years off doing other things, but always working with kids, even in the church setting. And it is such a wonderful, beautiful, amazing thing to impact the lives of young people. And so it was beautiful. Today was beautiful. The entire program was beautiful. And I thank God for the opportunity to pour into the lives, impact the lives, encourage and strengthen the lives of all people, but in particular, young people. So that is how I'm feeling today. Very, very thankful that I was able to speak at the graduation today. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I was treated like royalty. Thank you to my family who treated me like royalty. Because I usually help out. They wouldn't let me help, wouldn't let me do nothing but sit down. So I'm very thankful for that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to go ahead and share some Black history facts with us today. You all know tomorrow is Juneteenth. So we will talk about Juneteenth today. We'll talk about precious baby Kylan Wiley, who was murdered, who was killed, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Obama Presidential Center. But first, we're going to get into some Black history facts from our EJI calendar. You all know the Equal Justice Initiative. I share Black history facts. Oh, it's upside down. I share Black history facts from the EJI calendar. If you get some time, go ahead and go to eji.org, and check out the information on their website. Mr. Brian Stevenson and his team, they are doing an amazing job. They're doing some great work. And so I encourage you to check out their website, see the work that they're doing. I had to plug the computer in, excuse me, y'all. And if they are doing work that ministers to you, I encourage you to support them if you are able to do so and feel so led to do so. So on June 18th, 1963, sheriff's deputies in Gadsden, Alabama, torture over 450 Black civil rights protesters with electric cattle prods and arrest them for holding a peaceful sit-in opposition to segregation. They were holding a peaceful sit-in and they were harassed, tortured. 63, 73, 83, 93, 2003, 2013, 2023. That was 63 years ago. Not a lot of time. 1963, during the Civil Rights Movement. Not that long ago, y'all. On June 17th, 2015, a white teenager seeking to start a quote-unquote race war fatally shoots 9 Black people attending Bible study at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. I remember President Obama spoke did the eulogy. I don't know if it was for all of the individuals that passed away, but he did a eulogy for some of the victims, if one or two, I don't remember how many. And he sang Amazing Grace. Ha, ha, go ahead, President Obama. And so our ancestors from the Emmanuel AME Church they were all murdered by this white teen. On June 16th, 1944, South Carolina electrocutes George Steiny Jr., a 90-pound Black 14-year-old, after he is falsely accused of rape and murder. He is the youngest person executed in the United. He was the youngest, or rather, he was the youngest person executed in the United States in the 20th century, or I should say he is. He is. It says is here, was past tense. I still cannot believe that they thought this. I mean, you all have got to, is what I want to say, but you all need to see pictures. If you've never seen pictures of Mr. George Steiny Jr., he is so thin, so scrawny. I'm gonna say scrawny. He doesn't even look like he has the strength to hold anybody down, more or less rape them. And of course, he was falsely accused. A Black 14-year-old murdered. They had to stack books, you all, or stack books or whatever they had to use, items to stack books to get him to reach the, I don't know what it's called when they executed with the electrocution. I don't know what the little cup is attached to. I don't know what that's called, but they had to stack objects to get him to the height of this electrocution contraption that they used to murder him. I say they murdered him because he was falsely accused. Ooh, being black in these United, I say, divided states of America. Here's another one. June 15th, 1923, Black circus workers Isaac McGee, Elmer Jackson, and Elias Clayton are accused of raping a white woman and lynched by a mob of 10,000 people, y'all. 10,000 in Duluth, Mississippi. 10,000. I mean, Duluth, Minnesota. I'm sorry. Duluth, Minnesota. 10,000 people, $10,000 person mob lynched these black men accused. Y'all know it was right often, black men, black people being accused of all sorts of things, especially black men being accused of rape. Whew. And then we have tomorrow, which is Juneteenth, whoop, 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 which we are going to talk about in just a few minutes, but I'm going to read the Black History Fact and we're going to get into it. June 19th, 1865, months after the Emancipation Proclamation is signed, enslaved Black people in Texas finally learn about it when Union troops arrive and tell them the Confederacy lost the Civil War, in particular in Galveston Bay, Texas. Last Black History Fact I think I'm going to read this evening is on June 20th, 1940, after NAACP members tried to register to vote in Brownsville, Texas, a mob of white men retaliates by lynching local NAACP Secretary Elbert Williams. They're still trying to keep Black people from voting today with all this gerrymandering with the and then with the gerrymandering, they are shrinking Black districts to one or a few. If you look at some of the state maps in Tennessee and Mississippi, I know I can't remember the other states right now. I need to put a link so we can all look at it for ourselves. You can see how portion is blue. If you are so in the right, you will not have to cheat and steal to win anything, including elections, if you so right. You wouldn't have to gerrymander in order to get the districts in a way that you want them to be so that your party can win if you in the right. If you're serving your constituency, if you are doing right by your citizens that have elected you to do right by them, if you are serving well in Congress, U.S. Senate, U.S. House, Congress, and in the state Senate or in the state House of Representatives, if you are serving your constituents well, you wouldn't have to worry about gerrymandering. You wouldn't have to worry about unfair and unethical, let's keep it real, maps shrinking Black voting districts to little to nothing. You wouldn't have to close voting polls on college campuses. You would not have to decrease and in some places eliminate mail-in voting. You would not have to put rules in place for the United States Postal Service to not have to deliver mail, or putting what's the rule that just because you put a stamp on an envelope or your mail and put it in your mailbox does not mean that it's going to be postmarked on that particular day, including our mail-in ballots. The United States Postal Service in your area has the ability to determine when that's postmarked, which could be after the required date to send in your mail-in ballots. If you were so in the right, you would not have to use all of these tactics to keep people from voting. You would not be moving mail-in ballot drop boxes in certain areas. You wouldn't have to take them away in certain areas. So much deception, yes, but so So many tactics being used to keep people from voting. My God, it is crazy. Voting is a fundamental right. And to keep people from voting or to use all these ridiculous, stupid, because that's how I feel in Mississippi, I'm gonna say with Stephanie. So I'm gonna say what I want to say. All these stupid tactics to keep people from voting. Like, are y'all serious right now? And I know it is because Republicans feel their power slipping and they are doing everything they can to maintain power. If Republicans understood what power was or what power is, they would not be doing the things that they're doing. The greatest power, you all are going to hear me say this. I have said it so many times. I'm going to say it again. The greatest power that has ever lived on the face of this earth was Jesus. Jesus is the greatest power that has ever lived on this earth. And what did Jesus do? He served. He served, and it did not matter the socioeconomic status of the people he was serving. It did not matter about their education. It didn't matter if they had money to build him up. He served everybody. So if you want to operate in power, follow the example of Jesus, which you're not doing, because power and control is all that you power, control is what you want because you want to be at a certain level, at a certain status with your power. Instead of humbling yourself to serve the people that elected you and doing the job that they elected you to do. Instead, you are taking money from billionaires and millionaires and companies to fund your next election or to fund your pockets or whatever. And they are the ones that you are serving as opposed to your constituency. So if you want to understand and operate in true power, follow the life and the teachings of Jesus, the greatest power, the most humble power, the power that served the people. My name is Stephanie Humphrey, and I approve this message. I had not planned to go there, y'all, but I did. Some Democrats are not much better. Let's just be clear and honest about that. Some Democrats are not much better, but it's a majority Republicans in Congress, in the House and the Senate, which make up Congress. We know that majority of them are there. And the ridiculousness and the foolishness that's happening in these here united, I say divided states of America, y'all, it's Looney Tunes out here. It's Looney Tunes out here. But you know what? I'm done talking about that because I want to go right into my talk on Juneteenth. Woo, woo. So I have notes in my notebook and I have notes on my computer. So I'm going to read through and I'm going to add the links, you all, to the information that I got from Juneteenth and Frederick Douglass's speech, which we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. I have the links that I'll add so that you can read the information for yourself, so that you can listen to Frederick Douglass's speech as well. Okay, y'all. So our teaching on Juneteenth. And if y'all have any information to add, like if I missed something, please add it to the chat. We want to hear your voice. This is Sip and Say with Stephanie. You can say what you need to say and want to say too, as long as you are respectful. Do not use any profanity up in here, or you will be deleted because we don't do that up in here. But share what you want to share, your opinions, your thoughts. They do not have to agree with me. You can respectfully disagree, and I'm okay with that because we all have a right to our own thoughts and opinions. Just don't come up in here with no foolishness, or I will delete you and potentially block you. I have no problems doing that because we're not doing foolishness up in here. If you have facts that you want to share, if you have information that you want to share, Add the sources. I try to add sources to the description. I don't always get it in the chat, but I add it to the description. So give us your sources so we can look up the information for ourselves. We all want to be informed and have accurate information. So if you're gonna come with something, you better come with some facts and cite your sources. Come on, somebody. All right, y'all. On Freedmen's Eve, which was December 31st, 1862, the first watch night services took place. Free and enslaved African Americans gathered in homes and churches across America to await the news of the Emancipation Proclamation, which became effective on January 1st. I should know this, right? On January 1st, 1863, Emancipation Proclamation became effective January 1st, 1863. So this executive order, what it was an executive order by President Abraham Lincoln. This executive order declared all enslaved people in Confederate states were now legally free. All Black people, all Afro-Americans in Confederate states were free. This included Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. Those were the 11 Confederate states. So all of them were now, or enslaved people in those Confederate states, in those 11 states, are now declared free through the Emancipation Proclamation, effective January 1st, 1863. Okay, y'all, look. Union soldiers, and you know what? So word did not get, so let me just read what I wrote. Union soldiers, most of them Black, made their way to plantations to spread the news of freedom by reading copies of the Emancipation Proclamation. The 13th Amendment actually ended slavery throughout the United States, which we're going to get there in a minute. But the Emancipation Proclamation was not implemented. As we know, it was not implemented in all places. It was not implemented in all of the plantations of the Confederate states, because many of them were still under Confederate control, okay? And so some states did not want to implement the Emancipation Proclamation, so word did not get to everybody, okay? Some of the slave masters withheld that information or refused to follow this executive order that came through President Lincoln, okay? So there were still several people who were enslaved. Galveston Bay, Texas was one of the places that was still under Confederate control, and their enslaved was still serving their slave masters. On June 19th, 1865, over 2 years after the January 1st, 1963 Emancipation Proclamation, the citizens of Galveston Bay received word from the Army that they were free. 2.5 years later. This news impacted over 250,000 citizens in and around Galveston Bay, Texas. The people in Texas, I should say the newly freed people in Texas, declared this day Juneteenth. And they have been celebrating this for over a century, for decades. Now, you know what? One thing did I do it? I think I did. So one thing I decided to do, because again, the Emancipation Proclamation was for the 11 Confederate states, and I live in North Carolina, so mine was one. But even though it was for the 11 states, not all state constitutions reflected the Emancipation Proclamation. So I checked my state to see when my state of North Carolina, actually freed the enslaved. And I think I already typed it in. Let me see. And I encourage you to check your state to see when your state actually freed enslaved people. So I didn't write it down. I sure didn't. So I don't know what the date is. I remember looking it up, but I did not write it down. Did I not? I didn't. So I don't remember when our Constitution changed to reflect freedom for the enslaved people, but I'll have to check that and see. And I encourage you all to check your state as well, okay, to see when enslaved people were free. Got a little bit more information for us, you all. I wanted to make sure that those of us who had never read or heard the 14th Amendment, the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, let me get it right. The 14th Amendment could hear it in your, or could listen to it. And so I wanted to share it in your hearing. So the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, Section 1 reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. So I wanted us to look at this just a little bit to make sure that we understood it. Now, I didn't break down privileges of immunities of citizens, and y'all gonna have to look that one up for yourselves because that particular part of the 14th Amendment has been minimized so much, can get my words together, minimized so much that I need to look over it a little bit more. So you all can look at that part for yourself, but I did give us some, or I am going to give us some information about the other parts of this 14th Amendment. I forgot to ask y'all what y'all sipping on. I'm sipping on straight H2O tonight, and I need some, right, because I'm coughing, right? So put in the chat what you all are sipping on, add it to the comment section if you're listening to the rebroadcast later. Let me know what you're sipping on. All right, just a few breakdowns of the 14th Amendment so we all understand it. So, this 14th Amendment declares to us that citizenship is determined by being born here in the United States of America. I say divided states, y'all know that, or natural, or becoming a naturalized citizen. You know, that's when you go through the process of becoming a citizen in the U.S. So citizenship is determined by being born here or naturalized, okay? This particular amendment to the U.S. Constitution overrode the 1857 Dred Scott decision, which held that people of African descent could never be citizens, okay? So the 14th Amendment helped to, or the 14th, not didn't help to, but the 14th Amendment abolished or overruled the Dred Scott decision. Due process focuses on procedural due processes and substantive due process. I don't know why I can't form my words, but I got it. Procedural due process requires government to follow fair procedures before taking action against an individual. This includes giving us a notice of why you're taking action against an individual, as well as giving that individual an opportunity to defend themselves or to speak up for themselves. So this particular amendment includes the right for this to happen, for us to be able to get a notice about the action you're trying to take against me or, anybody, and the opportunity to defend ourselves or be heard about this particular action that is against us, okay? That is a procedural due process. The substantive due process protects certain fundamental rights from government interference, even when the proper procedures are followed. This might include the right to privacy. Y'all know we love our privacy, as well as parental rights, as well as other rights afforded to us, okay? Last little piece of this is the equal protection portion of the 14th Amendment. It gives every person within state jurisdiction equal protection of the law. This does not just include citizens, you all, but this includes undocumented individuals or immigrants as well. So this particular, excuse me, y'all. This particular part of the 14th Amendment, equal protection rights, is for citizens as well as undocumented immigrants. So hopefully that helps you to understand the different parts of the 14th Amendment, okay? Woo, child. I'm glad for the 14th Amendment because even though the Emancipation Proclamation declared freedom, it was the 14th Amendment that actually gave us of African descent freedom. I do want us to know because it was important for me for us to share. So that was information about Juneteenth while we celebrate Juneteenth, and just a little bit of information about the 14th Amendment. Um, all right, let me check the chat. Okay, I don't see anything, any additional information. Okay, so I want to share this with us. On July 15th, 1852, abolitionist Frederick Douglass delivered his "To What is the Fourth of July to the Slave" to the Rochester Ladies Anti-Slavery Society. They actually asked him to come to speak on about July 4th, July 11th. Something might be happening on July 11th. I need to make note of that in my heart, right? But on July 4th, they actually asked him to come to speak about July 4th. And I don't know if you all have read or heard this speech, but child, you need to read it. I'm actually going to put the link in the description so that you can hear, I think it was descendants of Frederick Douglass to read this speech. You can also, I'll have to pull up the PDF. If you all, want that, I may pull up the PDF so that I can attach it to our website, to my website, so you can actually read it if you don't want to listen to it, or the listening might get on your nerves. Depending on how you learn, you might want to read it for yourself. So I'll make a note to put the PDF on my website, and I'll add that link as well. It's a really good speech, y'all. You really need to read it and or listen to it, because Frederick Douglass, he laid it out, and it was really good. Like, the 4th of July does not mean anything to me. I celebrate Juneteenth all year. Not all year, but I'll celebrate every year, because that is the celebration or the liberation that I recognize for my people. If you do celebrate July 4th, that's wonderful. America is celebrating 250 years this year. If you celebrate, that's wonderful. That's amazing. Continue to do that if that's what you desire to do. I don't desire to, and so I won't. But Juneteenth is, again, the Liberation Day that I'm celebrating because it was for me. Well, it wasn't necessarily for me because I'm not from Texas, but it was for my people. So that's what I celebrate. It's so interesting because in my community, there are fireworks going off on Juneteenth night, and there are fireworks going off on July 4th night. And so I'm like, y'all do y'all celebrations. Y'all do y'all, as long as y'all fireworks don't come over here and mess with my property and my home, y'all good. So I'm aware. Like, I don't like loud noises like that, but I just prepare myself because I know those 2 nights I'm going to hear the fireworks. And sometimes I will go to the window and be like, okay, let me see if I can see the fireworks going, because I like to see them, not necessarily hear them. But again, I'm celebrating Juneteenth tomorrow, because that's the Liberation Day that I recognize. That's all I want to share about Juneteenth. Are you all going to any Juneteenth celebrations? I'm actually going to a Juneteenth celebration tomorrow. I have somebody coming with me, but I'm going solo, but somebody else might meet up with me later. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to enjoy myself either way. I'm going to go take my stadium chair. I'm going to pack me some food. I already got my food in the refrigerator. I got some salads that I'm going to take with me tomorrow. I got my snacks ready. I may take my tent. I don't know. Because you have the option to take the tent where you're going, because they do have covered spaces, but that's like a first come, first serve basis. So I might put the tent in the car just to see if I want to put that up. So we'll see. I'm going to go listen to some music, hang out with some people, eat, and just enjoy myself tomorrow. So hopefully you all will go to a Juneteenth festival or a Juneteenth celebration. However you celebrate, enjoy yourself. Have fun celebrating the full liberation of our people. All right, y'all, news. Y'all know I was saying last week that I miss giving the news. I kind of stopped giving the news for a little while, but I've been missing giving the news. I'm going to give us just a tad little bit of news this evening, y'all. I had to share this just in case you all did not know about Kohen Wiley. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name correctly. It is spelled Kohen. The 1-year-old toddler who was murdered in Senatobia, Mississippi. You all, this Oh, whew. Yeah, this baby was killed when police opened fire on a car. Let me share this story with you. And I wanted to share this with us, not to make us sad, but I felt like it was important for us to know this information that the life of a 1 year old is, this 1 year old's life is gone, because he was shot. And um, so again, this happened in Senatobia, Mississippi. Mom, Miss Valicia. Oh, let me make sure I get her name correctly. I should have tried to pronounce it before I came on the air. Vilasaya, maybe Vilasaya, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Miss Wiley. I'm gonna just call her Miss Wiley. But Miss Wiley, a family friend, and Kohen, they were at a Walmart, and the family friend was accused of stealing diapers from Walmart. The report said that they were allegedly running from Walmart. They got in the car and they proceeded to leave. Now, there was another report that said the camera at Walmart showed them actually purchasing these diapers. I don't know which report is accurate. The investigation will hopefully reveal that. But in the story, two different stories, right? So I'm giving you the information so you all read it for yourselves. But allegedly, stealing took place of these diapers, even though a report said they paid for them. But because there was an accusation of them stealing the diapers, the police were called, and they accused this car. The family friend was driving the car. The mother was in, the passenger side. Now, I don't know why this particular part of the story happened, but at one point, the mom, Miss Wiley, she actually held up her baby so that she said, so that the police could see that there was a 1 year old in the car, and in hopes that they would stop firing. So let me read what it says. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation noted that law enforcement officers were said to have seen two adults allegedly fleeing from the store with a child. They got into a car that the officer said was coming toward them. Officers attempted to stop the vehicle. One officer opened fire, injuring the family friend and killing the 1 year old Mr. Kohen, precious little Kohen Wiley. According to a statement by attorney Ben Crump, Ms. Wiley was trying to communicate, quote, trying to communicate to officers that there was a baby in the car. They fired anyway, leading to the death of an innocent 1 year old. That's what attorney Crump said in his statement. He went on to say, we intend, and this is a quote, we intend to seek justice for baby Kohen and the life that was stolen from him, unquote. So it was also noted that Miss Wiley, the mom, said her friend was being pursued for allegedly shoplifting diapers. This is a quote from Miss Wiley. I raised my baby up trying to show them that he was in the car. By the time I sat my baby down, it was like 3 to 4 shots. One of the shots hit him in his rib cage, unquote. Oh, let me say this is another quote by Miss Riley, who, well, this is not a quote here, but I did mention that the family friend was driving the car. So this is what Miss Wiley said in response to that. So this is a quote. They tried to say that she forcefully was trying to drive and hit them, but they was all on the right side and she was driving towards the left. That's what Miss Wiley shared. As far as the accusation that came about that the family friend was trying to hit them. Because even when I read this, I was like, well, in the Walmart parking lot, at least most of them that I've seen have an arrow where you're going one way or you're going the other way, but some of them have it where you can actually go both ways. So I don't know. I didn't see any videos about it, so I didn't didn't see. I don't know if camera footage has been released yet from Walmart or from anybody who may have been recording this particular scene taking place. But in my mind, there is no way, and I mean no way, that I would hold up my child or anybody when bullets are flying. Now, in my mind, based on reading the story, bullets were already flying. I could be wrong, but just in my reading, it doesn't say that anywhere in the report. But as I was reading, I was like, well, bullets had to have been potentially were being shot already when the baby was held up. Potentially not. I really don't know, but that's what I was thinking. If bullets are coming, why is she holding up her baby? I would have been, trying to cover my baby or my child or niece, nephew, who is somebody else's child, whoever child I see in the grocery store. Bill is coming. I'm gonna try to protect a child. So I don't know exactly at what point Miss Wiley held up her child. Um, but she did, and the baby is dead. And I'm not accusing her. I'm not trying to accuse her or put anything on her. I'm just telling you how I see it and what I think about it. But at some point the baby was struck by at least one of the allegedly struck. Well, not allegedly, because the baby was struck by at least one of the bullets, and he died. I'm trying, and then why wasn't the baby in the car seat? I was thinking about that as well. Again, I'm not trying to accuse Miss Wiley. I'm not trying to put the blame on her at all. These are just observations that I was making for myself as I'm reading this story. Like, first thing I would do when I have any children in my car, child seat children, they go in the car seat first before maybe even before I put the bags in the car. At some point before the key go in the ignition, unless it's hot, because I don't run my air unless I have to. So a lot of times if it's hot, if I have kids, I'm gonna plug in the car, like crank up the car, put the windows down, uncrank the car, and usually put my keys on me. And then that child is going in the car seat before the car gets cranked up and before I put drive in and I'm moving. That's just, because I ain't trying to get no ticket for no child not being in the car. Even in the parking lot, we children going in the car seat before we get in this car and start driving. So I'm not sure why the child is not in the car seat. Again, not blaming the mom, just making observations based on the information that I read. Now, I'm going to say this too. I have no idea why police officers are shooting into a moving vehicle. Matter of fact, why are you shooting when there are other customers around? Like y'all were not in the parking lot by yourself. I'm pretty sure there were other cars, there were other customers, there were other things happening. So first of all, why are you shooting? Because I don't know why an alleged shoplifting incident would lead police to open fire on the car. Just get your hind parts in your car and chase the car. I mean, you're in the Walmart parking lot. You can't be going too fast because people walking and doing it. You can't be going to just get in your car and follow them, instead of shooting. Like, were y'all trying to kill somebody? Y'all just shooting into a car? Like, I don't understand why they open fire. So I think for sure, I'm going to say this. Police were in the wrong on this one. Open fire, shooting into a car because of some shoplifting. And then some diapers. I don't condone shoplifting. Diapers. Why y'all shooting at somebody over some diapers? Why y'all shooting anybody over any type of shoplifting incident? Either way, this baby is dead. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is investigating the shooting. Mississippi Department of Public Safety Mississippi Department of Public Safety Commissioner Sean Tyndall oversees the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. This is why he said, this is a quote, "This is a very tragic situation. I want the public to be assured that the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation," you already got me not trusting you because you want to be assured. Okay, let me just read what he wrote and leave my commentary to the end. "I want the public to be assured," this is what Mr. Sean Tyndall said, "that the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation will conduct its independent investigation. I would ask that the public maintain patience as much as possible. I know this is a very frustrating time, but maintain patience as this process is done." Don't nobody feel like being patient. A child is dead because police officers shot into a car. I'd be doggone it. Anyway, we're gonna see what comes about from this story. Currently, the officer is on administrative leave. I did not see his name. If it has been given, I don't have it. But he has been put on administrative leave. All I know is this baby dead, y'all, over some police officers shooting into a car over some doggone diapers. Either way of how I feel about everything that has happened, I ask for us to pray for the Wiley family. Pray for this mom and pray for the family, peace and comfort to them. In the name of Jesus. But a baby is a baby, a 1 year old. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna move on because I don't want to keep dwelling on the fact that this 1 year old baby is gone. In other news, I guess I'll say in other news, I did want to share with us that primaries are going on, you all. I I'm gonna have to muddle through this one just a little bit because I want to inform us about the primaries that are coming up. But I do want to give a shout out to Keisha Lance Bottoms, who won the Democratic nominee for governor in Georgia. So shout out to her and to all the other Black women who won your um, nomination. I really appreciate every citizen across America who has gone out to vote, early voted, voted day of, mail in ballots. I appreciate you. Let's keep voting, you all. November 3rd. I think we're voting on November 3rd this year. Let me check the date. Yep, I remember correctly. November 3rd is election day, you all. Check out your state board of elections website to see when early voting is happening in your state. Find out when mail-in voting is happening in your state. I know in my state, mail-in voting starts in September. Okay, so you all pay attention to the dates that are going on or the dates that are established in your state as it relates to voting in November. But make sure that you are voting in the primaries because that is happening now because we got to get to November. So make sure that you are voting in the primaries. So I'm going to go through this in alphabetical order because that's the information that I have from the When We All Vote page. And so listen for your state. Alaska is voting August 18th. Arizona is voting July 21st. These are your primary election dates. Arkansas is passed. California, Colorado, June 30th. Connecticut, August 11th. Delaware, September 15th. Florida, August 18th. Georgia just happened in May. Hawaii, August 8th. Kansas, August 4th. Maryland, June 23rd. So just a few days, Maryland. Massachusetts, September 1st. Michigan, August 4th. Minnesota, August 11th. Missouri, August 4th. New Hampshire, September 8th. Rhode Island, September 9th. Tennessee, August 6th. Vermont, August 11th. Virginia, August 4th. Washington, August 4th. That's state. West Virginia has happened. Wisconsin, August 11th. Wyoming, August 18th. So if you heard your state, make sure that you're checking your state board of elections website to see the dates for early voting, mail-in voting, and the day of, which I just shared with you, but confirm on your state board of elections website to ensure that you have the proper dates and check your voting location so you know where you are going to vote if you're voting day of. Okay. Also, I know in my state I can pull up my ballot early so I can see what the ballot looks like and prepare for who I'm voting for. So if your ballot is available in your state, check it out, look it up, see who you're going to vote for. Research the candidates that are running in your local election so that you are informed about who you are voting for. Vote your conscience, vote who you think is best for your family, for your community, for your state, vote your conviction. And again, just check out the candidates, know their history, know what they have done. All ready to support your community. Okay, so be informed before you vote, be informed, and then make a plan to vote and then get out there and cast your ballot. Okay. If you're able to, if you have the capacity to do so, the opportunity to do so, the heart to do so, take some people with you, take some family members, some friends, maybe some elderly, or maybe the elderly in your community. Take people with you if you're able to do that, if you want to do that, if you have the ability to do that. Take some folk with you. If you're not able to take anybody with you, if you don't really want to, that's okay too. Inform people, let them know the date of your primary. Remind them of their polling place if you're able to do that. Encourage them to vote early if that's still available in your state. Encourage them to mail in their ballot if that's still available in your state. And if it's not, encourage them to vote the day of the primary. Okay. Local elections are just as important as presidential elections. They determine our county commissioners, our city council, our school board, our sheriff, our judges. If you have aldermen in your community, it determines your aldermen and other like local governments have different positions that may not be the same in other states. Like different states have different local or governmental positions. That's what I'm trying to say. Different states have different governmental positions. And so check to see who's running in your state, what positions are being elected on in your state. And again, be informed, y'all, and get your hind parts out there and vote. Yes, I did. Tell for 18 on up, get your hind parts out there and vote. Okay, vote, 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 like your life depends on it, because it does. Y'all, I want to tell you this. So there is a fight in Congress. I'm gonna say it's a fight. Okay, there's a fight in Congress. I ain't gonna say we. I'm gonna say we, because a lot of us we are trying to get these doggone Republicans from being the majority in the House and the Senate. And this is talking about the U.S. Congress right now. Oh, let me show my numbers right. There are 47. So anyway, I don't know if I got those numbers right, so I'm not going to say this. I may add it to the description. Right now, based on the primaries that have already happened, Democrats need to gain 4 seats in order to win control of the Senate in November. That's for the Senate. In the House, Democrats need to flip about 3 House seats, you all, for us to take back the House. So we need to flip 3 seats to take back the House and need to win 4 seats to take back the Senate. Now, I know that there's shown up corruption in the Republican Party, and there is corruption in the Democratic Party. But I will say this, my opinion, this is Sip and Say with Stephanie, my opinion, the Republicans are doing nothing for me as a Black person in America. Democrats are doing more for me in America than Republicans are, so I will vote Democrat. I don't affiliate with either party, but I have a tendency to vote Democrat because those are the individuals that are working for the people and implementing policies that impact me, that are best for me. That is me. You vote your conviction. Vote for who you think is best for your family, your community, your state, the federal government. Vote your conviction. I'm just telling you mine. That is my conviction. You vote yours. And I stand firm and flat-footed in my conviction. Ride the blue wave. Come on, blue people. Let's get it done. Let's get it done in the primaries. Okay, November, get it done in the primaries, and then make sure that you make a plan to vote, not only in the primaries, but make a plan to vote on November 3rd. We usually have a teacher work day during election days. I haven't checked. I think I did check the calendar. I think we do have another teacher work day. Oftentimes, at least in my community and maybe in other communities across America, school gyms are used for polling sites. And so we give the opportunity for there to be no children there and, for teachers to do work there in their classroom or on site if they so choose. And so I'm ready, y'all. Like, I'm ready to vote in November. I'm not trying to fast forward my life. But I'm so ready to cast my ballot in November, let me just tell you. And again, in North Carolina, early voting, I mean, mail-in ballots happen in September. I feel like I saw an October date. So the October, it's been a couple of weeks since I looked at the dates. I feel like the October date was maybe early voting starts then. But you all, again, North Carolina, check the North Carolina State Board of Elections website. Check out the State Board of Elections website in the state that you reside in. In addition, check your voter registration to ensure that you are still active. Okay, that's something that we should be doing throughout the year. I try to check mine at least once a month. I have not checked June. I think I've checked a couple. Have I checked a couple of times? I know I checked a couple of times in May because I was looking for other things and checked then. I can't remember if I've already checked in June, but I'm gonna check before the night's over. So just make sure that your voter registration is still active so that you can vote in the primaries. Okay, that's all I want to say about that for now. Oh, I did want to note that there are currently five vacancies in the U.S. House. Currently five vacancies. I don't know if that's due to individuals passing away or whatever the case may be. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that. But you all can check it out for yourselves, if you're curious to know. Last thing that I want to mention before I go for the evening, I'm going to finish early tonight. Look at me. I wanted to acknowledge that the Obama Presidential Center opens tomorrow on Juneteenth. Way to go, President Barack Obama and First Lady, and I know they're former, but President Barack Obama and former First Lady, or President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. I celebrate them and salute them for choosing Juneteenth to be the date that they open the Obama Presidential Center. I wish I could be there in Chicago, Illinois, but I will not be with you, but much success in your opening. I did, however, after the graduation and I got home and got settled, I did listen to the latter part of the grand opening ceremony that actually happened today on the grounds of the Obama Presidential Center. They had a concert, there were some speeches and amazing things that were shared concerning the Obama Presidential Center. And so I am going to add the link to the description. If you want to view it, you'll have that information. If you want to share it with others, feel free to do so. I'm also going to put the link for the Obama Presidential Center in the description so that you can have access to that as well. So the legendary Stevie Wonder performed along with singers Jennifer Hudson, John Legend, Common, the legendary Bruce Springsteen, and Eddie Vedder. Also, Tim's a Nigerian singer. She performed as well. The Roots were in the house. Christina Aguilera also performed. And if I missed any of these performances, I apologize. But those are the performers that I saw little bits and pieces of theirs. But it was a beautiful experience. What I experienced at the tail end, and then like watching little pieces throughout. I'm gonna go back and watch the entire grand opening celebration. But what I saw was really nice, and I love that Marseille. What's Marseille's last name? That was on Blackish. Marseille Martin, I believe is her last name. She was actually amongst the people in that pretty purple jumpsuit. Was it purple or green? Whatever, it was a pretty outfit she had on. And so she was amongst the crowd and she was talking to different people about what this meant to them, what the Obamas mean to them. So I like that they had that aspect of the grand opening ceremony as well. It was a beautiful, beautiful day from what I could tell, or for the parts that I watched. And so again, I'll make those links available to us. Y'all, that's all I have to share with us tonight. I got to get me some dinner. I'm having salad for dinner too, y'all. I think I'm having salad for dinner. We'll see what happens. But yes, I am done for the evening. I want to say thank you all for joining for Sip and Say with Stephanie. I hope that you will take the time to look up the information that I've shared with you. Tonight, I'll put the links in the description shortly after I end the broadcast so that you can go ahead and access that information. I cannot say it enough. Make sure that you are voting in your primaries. Make a plan to vote. Encourage your family, your friends, your coworkers, even your enemy. Encourage everybody to vote, okay? Vote their conviction, okay? Tell everybody to vote their conviction. All right, y'all. Thank you again for joining. And I will see you all next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. for the Stephanie Humphrey channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You all be blessed.